Hello students, welcome to your SST class. Today we'll be doing lesson 2 of your geography. Now before I give you details about this lesson inside our earth, I have something very interesting point of knowledge to share with you. Maybe you people have heard of it, maybe not. There is one theory, continental drift theory, brought up by one of the geologists. He said and believed that the shape and sizes of continents that we see today was not same hundreds of years ago. At that time, it was one big land mass, and due to the volcanic eruptions at the core of the earth, that big land mass broke into pieces. Then, over the next hundreds of years, that land mass or pieces of land kept moving and drifted away. You can see from this picture the shapes of that time and the shapes that we see now of different continents, they are quite different. It is believed that these continents are still drifting away. Maybe hundreds of years from now, their shapes will be little different than what it is now. Now, why do we believe on this theory? Is because if we see the outer shape or the outer ring of the continents, they all fit like a jigsaw puzzle. They can, if we put them together, they do match and it can become one landmass. It can become like as you solve a jigsaw puzzle and you put together the pieces, it becomes one shape. Same ways it can be done uh, with the land masses of our earth. Not only this, the connecting areas, if we join them, all the connecting areas have same flora and fauna. Flora and fauna means the animals and the plant life of these connecting areas is also the same, even if they have moved away. So, as I just said, eruptions took place at the core of the earth. Now I'll come to this topic. What is the core or what is inside our earth? We'll discuss. That is your lesson number 2. Inside our earth, or I should say interior of the earth. Fine. There have been very constant changes inside our earth. Which type of rocks and minerals are found here? What is earth made up of? All that we're going to study in this chapter. First, let's see the earth's 3 main layers. As we peel an onion, you see rings over there. In the same way, even our earth has layers. And these layers, in very simple terms, can be called tectonic plates. Children, when we have earthquakes, it is the little disturbance or movement of these tectonic plates that we have earthquakes. Okay, there are 3 main layers. First one, the outer one, is called lithosphere. That is also called the crust. The second, mantle. And the third, the inner one, is called the core. These layers are further inner and outer layers. So there are so many layers. And these layers have different names also. Let's talk about the first or the outermost layer. The uppermost layer, it is the thinnest, around 35 kilometers deep. Next is the mantle. It extends to up around 2900 kilometers. The mantle has the outer mantle and the inner mantle. The outer mantle is liquid in form, which which has a name magma. Now, when we have volcanoes eruptions, the liquid that comes out is magma. It comes out from this layer. Then you have inner mantle, that is solid one. Then you go to the core of the earth, that is around 3500 kilometers deep. From outer core to inner core, it is roughly that much, 3500 kilometers. So these were the 3 layers. Now let's see what these three layers are made up of, the minerals that are found over here. The main mineral that is found over here are silica and alumina. Alumina or aluminium oxide, we can say. Now, these students, what are the properties of these minerals? What are their uses? You will be studying about them in your science subject also. Fine. The brown continental crust of the earth portion is silica and aluminium oxide, and the oceanic crust contains silica and magnesium. Fine. Now, let's talk about the inner core. Very high temperatures and pressures, or we can say it is super hot at the inner core. It contains nickel and liquid iron. Moving on, the Earth's crust is made up of various rocks. Let's talk of our rocks. There are three main types of rocks: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. All the rocks are of different shapes, sizes, and textures. Let's start with igneous first. When the molten lava comes out from the inner core, comes to the surface, it cools and solidifies. It has been doing that since long time. This is called igneous rocks. The average granite rocks that you see on the sides of the roads, or one simple example that you see in your mother's kitchen, the grinding stone with which your mother makes those yummy chutneys and other food items, that is also an example of igneous rock. Next is sedimentary rock, which is formed by the deposition of materials at the earth's surface or within the bodies of water. Like the sand has been compressed, and in between that sand, it could have bones and fossils of plants and animals. That sand has been compressed over hundreds of years, and because of those things in between, it takes the shape of layers. So this is a sedimentary rock. Next, metamorphic rocks. The basic meaning is change in form. What happens? Igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, when they change their form due to heat and pressure, what gets formed is metamorphic rocks. For example, the clay becomes slate. Now those are the, you can say, types of rocks. Limestone changes to marble. Children, you people have heard of there are different areas where you find these different types. For example, there's a place, Makrana in Rajasthan, there from where the marble is coming out. Fine. So all the types of rocks are not found everywhere. There are specific places where you find that special type only. From this picture, you can see the best use of the rocks. One Taj Mahal, which is made up of white stone or marble, we can say. Next, in your book, there is one term, rock cycle. Changes of one rock into the other type is called rock cycle. For example, the igneous changes to sedimentary, and maybe then it changes into metamorphic. Rocks are made up of minerals, as we have just said. What are minerals? Now, if I was to say what are minerals, minerals, scientific definition could be, are naturally occurring substances which have certain physical properties and definite chemical properties. They are very useful to mankind. Some are used as fuels, for example, coal, natural gas, and petroleum. Some are used in industries like iron, aluminium, and uranium. With that, we come to the end of the chapter. I hope that it must have created little interest in you to read the lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day, and now do the reading yourself, please. Thank you.